Hi guys, it's Amy. Welcome to my channel, Strength Reversed. Thank you for watching. And if you are one of my newer subscribers, welcome and thank you so much for taking the time to check out my channel. I have a lot of newer subscribers because of the shout outs that Heather Carter and Julie from Peekaboo Rose gave me on their channels. That was so kind of both of them, and I do appreciate it. So I thought I would take Heather Carter's hashtag that she it was an older one that she breathed new life into it. 10 questions every tarot reader should answer. And I love those little quiz things. So I thought if I answered that one, it would help people get to know me a little better. And I also have a question for all of you YouTubers at the end, because I feel like a little bit overwhelmed keeping up with the channels that I'm subscribed to. And since people are, very gracious in supporting my channel, I want to make sure that I support other people's channels too. So stay tuned for my question. So this is 10 questions that every tarot reader should answer. And I will link the video that Heather did, and she, on her video, has linked some of the other people who have done these 10 questions. And I think they're really interesting. Everyone loves to be interviewed about themselves, right? Okay, so the first question is, were you mentored or were you self-taught? I think everyone, you can't get around doing the actual work and studying. So I definitely consider myself self-taught. However, I have had several teachers. My very first teacher was Nancy Antonucci from St. Paul, Minnesota, and she's wrote Psychic Tarot. I have a review of her book, Psychic Tarot, which is fabulous. And so she was my very first tarot teacher. It was I had not studied the tarot before I took her class, which was like in 1999, when I lived in St. Paul. And it just has really influenced the way I read tarot cards. I've had many, many readings from her. She's a phenomenal reader. And so that has really influenced me. I've also taken a couple of different kind of community ed style classes, live and in person with tarot readers. And then of course, online classes. I haven't even gotten to look at the Ethany's summer school lineup yet. I'm so behind. So I'm excited to do that because I'm sure I'll be taking this summer a couple of those classes. But otherwise, so mentored, I mean, I have a lot of people who I consider to be people that I admire and who I've learned a lot from, but I guess mostly I'm self-studied, self-taught. Are you psychic or a tarot reader? I would say that I am an intuitive tarot reader. So I definitely use the cards to tune in. I don't like it when people say things like, I used to read tarot cards and then I found I didn't need that crutch. It kind of annoys me because I think it's a little bit snarky. I understand what they're saying, but I definitely am a tarot reader. I think psychic has a little bit of a, certain connotations to it. Like, I know what you're thinking, or I don't know why people would want to pay me to tell them a bunch of stuff they already know about themselves anyway. Are your predictions accurate, and is accuracy important to you? I don't really tend to do a whole lot of predictive reading, but I would say I've been told that my readings are pretty accurate. It is important to me to be accurate, but I can't get hung up on that. Otherwise, I drive myself nuts before I did a reading. Am I right? Am I wrong? And sometimes you have to let a reading percolate for a while before you really know how it panned out. And so you can't always tell right away, because sometimes You know, if you're reading for someone or if you're reading for yourself, at first you'll be like, what? That can't be right. But then it's like, I'll be darned. That's how it turned out. So, I think I've said this a lot before, that I think tarot is a conversation with your higher self. So I'm not really, sorry about that. My camera popped out of the tripod. So you got a little wild ride there. So that's predictions. And then question 4 and question 10 are related. One is there anything you can't predict? And is there anything you won't predict? I don't like to, I'm going to kind of smush those together. I don't like to predict timing, because I feel like asking when something is going to come to pass removes you from any sort of responsibility of helping that process along or participating in that. So when something is going to happen, I try to avoid that question. I just don't like it. I will not make predictions about health, although I will read about health in the sense that, you know, if you're seeing a doctor and you're following your doctor's orders, then we can read about maybe spiritual aspects of what's going on, or maybe how you could take care of, you know, your spirit or your mind while you're going through this, that kind of a thing, but not like diagnosing or remedying health issues. That I won't do either. Do you use only tarot, or are you multidisciplinary? Right now I use mostly tarot with a little bit of pendulum splashed in for yes-no kinds of things. I tried to teach myself how to read with playing cards, and I found a couple of videos online about that, and it was just, I didn't like how it seemed to be very strict. This card means this, and this card means this, and there wasn't a whole lot of deviation. And so it was good for like mundane things, but it did seem a little bit prediction-y, and I don't like that, because I think that it's not as useful as I would have liked it to be, and so it just didn't click with me. Although I am feeling very drawn to Kipper cards, so I'm kind of thinking of getting a deck and trying to learn about Kipper cards and seeing if those are something that I'll be interested in pursuing further. Let's see. Is the message in the cards or in your head? Well, I think it's in your neither. I think it's in your mind or your heart. It's something, it's not your head, it's not your intellect where these answers come from. I think the imagery in the cards triggers something in your higher self, and it triggers certain bits of information. And that's why different readers will take something a little different from each card, because it's definitely, I think, coming from the reader. The cards in themselves don't really hold any power. Also, you know, I have certain cards in certain decks that in this deck, it has a very specific meaning to me that it might not have in other decks. And so I think the imagery in the card triggers something in the reader. I think people are called to get the reading from whoever they need to hear it from. And also, whenever I read for someone else, there's always a useful nugget of information in that reading for me. And so I think the information definitely comes from not your head, but the reader. There's a video, and I think Corinne Kenner had put it up. This was quite a while ago, but it was about an egg. And so each card was just an egg. And it had an egg, and then it would say the Fool, the egg, the Magician, the egg, the High Priestess. And if you go through, you can find how an egg brings up that meaning for you. So I'm going to try to find that video. I don't know if it's still up, and I'm pretty sure it was Corinne Kenner, but I might be wrong. I'll put it in the description below if I can find it. Are you a priest or a fortune teller? Well, I definitely don't consider myself a fortune teller, because I don't like that term, because again, it implies prediction, and it implies that the person is not a participant in their own life, that the outcome is going to be whatever it's going to be regardless, and I don't believe that that's true. I guess I would say I'm a priestess, just because I'm sort of someone who helps the querent along. I guess it's my job to help the querent do things for themselves and not to fix problems for them. I think tarot uncovers problems, and then someone like a therapist can help you fix your problems, which is number 8. Are you a fixer or a looker? I definitely am a looker. I can only tell you what the cards are bringing up for me right now. But I do like homework cards, where you get a something you can do, something you can action that you can take to kind of get to where you want to be. Do you read for free or for a fee? Well, both of those. If I'm reading for other people, I read for a fee, whether that's money, or my friend brings me lunch, or we exchange readings. And so it's not always money, but you know, if I'm reading for practice, like in my tarot meetup or something, of course I'm not going to charge them, because the practice is benefiting me as well. But there does have to be some sort of exchange of energy. Nancy Antonucci, my first teacher, told the class, do the first 100 readings for free and then start charging. And so I do charge. I feel, I used to not charge friends, and then I started feeling a little bit taken advantage of, or a little resentful at the time and energy. I felt drained. And so I told them at a time that was outside of them asking me for a reading. I didn't wait till they asked me. I just kind of mentioned, when we weren't talking about tarot, by the way, I'm not reading for free anymore, just putting that out there. And my friends were very understanding. They totally were respectful of that. So, and then number 10, I already answered with number 4. So that's my 10 things that, 10 questions that I should answer as a tarot reader. And I have a question for you guys. I want to know how you, as tarot YouTubers, how you keep up with all of the channels that you're subscribed to. I feel like I'm drowning a little bit, and I really feel bad about not being able to watch all the videos that I want to watch and comment on all the videos I want to comment on. So how do you guys do that? How do you manage your time in that way? Drop me a line in the comments, or make a response, however you want to do that. But I'm just interested in how that happens, because I definitely want to show support for all the people who have supported me, and for other people who are just starting out, and for all the good readers out there. So thank you guys for watching, and welcome if you're new, and see you next time.